Hi there everyone, welcome to Pour Painting with Ron. I hope you've been really well since the last time we saw each other. Well, it has been some time, hasn't it? Life just gets busy. But anyway, what are we going to be doing today? Well, I haven't played with a blow dryer for a little while, so I thought today we could do a Dutch pour. So the canvas I'm using today is this large 50 by 60 centimetre canvas. When I'm done, I think the painting will go this way rather than this way, but we'll see how it turns out. As usual, I've made sure the canvas was nice and tight. I sprayed a bit of water on the back and blow dried it just to stretch the canvas a bit. And I did have to use some of the spacer bars that came with the canvas. And as I usually do, I taped off the back with some painter's tape and put in some giant push pins to keep it off the surface of my table. Oh well, the main thing you need to probably keep in mind with a Dutch pour is to keep the mix that you use really thin. If it's too thick, you're not going to be able to blow it around with the blow dryer and get the effects that you want. Now, I'm not using any Floetrol today, I'm just using water to thin out my paints. You do need to be careful with water though. If you're just going to use water, use a good quality paint with good binders in it. If you use a really cheap paint like craft paint or something and you just use water, you risk the binders breaking and the paint doing yucky stuff as it dries. But I'm using a good paint today, Amsterdam paints, to do my painting with, and I can get away with just using water to make a nice thin mix. For my base layer today, I'm just going to use their black, whatever it's called, some sort of black, oxide black, just for the base. And then for the colours on the top, my main colours are going to be the red, which red is this one, Naphtol Red Deep, and this nice orange, Azo Orange. So they're my main colours. I'm going to mix into that a little bit of the Deco Art Extreme Sheen 24 karat gold metallic. Should give some interesting effects. And a little bit of titanium white. Just a little bit, just to lighten things up a little bit. All right, now measurement wise, I can't really give you an exact total of paint that I used, but for my black layer I think I ended up using about 400 grams of the black, and I think I ended up with 200 or 300 grams of water in there to get the consistency that I wanted. The other colours I used about 20 grams and I just added enough water to get the right consistency. Now I'm not sure if you can see the consistency. You can see it's fairly thin. If I pour it off the spoon, I don't get a mound of paint. And if I do a twirly thing, I don't get a bump of paint on the top. So it's not water thin, but it is pretty runny. You'll see as I pour it onto the canvas how thin it is. Anyway, let's get started. Righto, now if you don't want black fingernails when you have finished, wear gloves, because black just gets into everything and it's really quite messy. So here's my black, and then I've got my other colours mixed up. You don't need much, this is heaps, I won't use all of that. You can see it just like dribbles off the spoon. Now you don't want it water thin, but as I said, you do want it thin enough so you can blow it around the canvas with your blow dryer. You don't have to use a blow dryer, you can use your mouth or a straw or anything that can move the paint around on your canvas. Just a little bit of gold. A little bit of gold goes a long way with the extreme sheen. Anyway, we'll just put the paints aside and I'll bring in my canvas and we will get started. Now I'll do it sideways just because it's easier to tip around than that way, but we'll see how it's going to work. All right, I'll just make sure you can see what we're doing. Yep, no problem. Okay, now the first bit's the messy bit, and that's putting the base layer over the canvas. You do want a reasonably thick layer. If it's too thin, there's nothing to blow out with your canvas, but again, you don't want too much on there. But yeah, we'll see how we go. All right. Yeah. Now some people blow it around with a blow dryer. I like using a spatula and tilting. I'll keep a little bit in case I need it to fix any boo-boos. So I think it's about 500 grams or so of black. I'll keep a bit, see how we go. Now I'll just spread with a palette knife, and then I'll perhaps tip it a bit. We'll see how we go, how much is on there. You don't want heaps of paint left on there because it may crack when it dries, but you do want a nice decent coat on there. Sorry if that doesn't sound particularly clear. If there's too much on there, the blow dryer has nowhere to blow the paint, and you just end up with a big puddle of paint on your canvas. Okay, now a messy bit. I'll just even it out. Fair amount of air bubbles in it. I'll give it a bit of a blow dry. Once we're done, I'll cover all my edges. Now, if I was using two colours as my base coat, I just have to use my spatula. I've done one of those paintings before. There's a lot of air in there. I mixed it up 2 days ago and there's still heaps of air bubbles. Okay, now I'll just pick up paint and dab on the edges. Cover my corners. They're very easy to cover with black, very easy to see what you've done and haven't done. And then I'll go and wash my gloves before I put the colours on. Yeah, I think I've covered just about everything. Yeah. Now I'll just go and wash these gloves. I'll be back in a second. Good as new. All right, now I'll just pop some of these air bubbles. I don't know why I got so many. There. That'll do. Now, the colours, I'm not going to put heaps and heaps on because it tends to spread a long way. I was going to do like a little line up this way and then like a branch coming off or something. But yeah, we'll see. Now, I'll do the red on the bottom, I think. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe like so. And perhaps like so. Maybe. We'll see. And then I'll do some of the orange. And the gold, I won't be overly generous with the gold because it'll just take over. Yeah, still got heaps left. I can do another painting with that. Now I don't want to use tons of white. Now, hopefully we have enough paint. I'll put a little bit more red on. Will I? Won't I? Maybe just a touch. You can see the extreme sheen makes nice little pearly sorts of effects. You can see little pearly sort of things happening there. Now with the black, I'm just going to put a little bit around the edges of the colour just to help blow it out. If you don't have enough paint, you can't blow it out over your canvas. Okay, now for the fun bit. Let's move all this aside. I'm just going to blow it everywhere. Wipe my gloves. Now this is just a cheap blow dryer I bought. This is a VS Sassoon Pro Dry 2300. Need to make sure it has a cool button on there so you don't blow really hot air over your canvas. So I'm going to use the lowest cool setting, the lowest fan speed just for the beginning. I may do it faster, but we'll see. And the cool button. Now you don't have to be in a super hurry. Okay. Not fast speed. what I was hoping for, but I will blow it out with my mouth just to see if I can make it look a little bit more interesting. Okay. Not sure if I'm liking this, but yeah, I'll play with it. Ooh. I might need a little bit more down this corner. Bit of white. How's that looking? Still not enough in this corner. I really want to go over that corner. Okay, that's over that one. Now I'll just get a straw. I can find them. Where are my straws? Somewhere. Oh. Here we go. Now, what could I might, yeah. I like the little wispy things. How is that looking? Yeah, that's looking better, I think. Just looking at it from how it's going to hang, perhaps. Yeah, straw. I find a straw really useful. Okay, I think we're getting there slowly. Just want to create a bit more movement in the middle. Okay. Will I play with it a bit more, or are we good? Let's get rid of this red bit up there. It's just sitting there in the middle of nowhere. Pretty. I do like the gold in there. It's nice and sparkly. And the gold creates interesting like cell action. Now I'll give it a bit of a torch, pop some more bubbles, and it may make some more cells appear as well. Okay. I noticed a bit of a lump here somewhere. Where was it? No, can't see it now. Now you'll notice with the Dutch pour it's very bumpy when you have finished because the paint's really uneven, but as it dries it'll flatten out and go flat and look a lot better. Now I need a little bit more black. So the canvas is showing there. I'll just dab a bit more on there. Okay. How does it look? Yep, I won't play with it anymore. As I say, if you're mostly happy with it, don't play with it anymore because you'll end up wrecking it. Nice. Now the last step of the painting is to just go around your bottom edges and scrape off all the drips. They look unsightly. It also tends to pull paint off your canvas. Get rid of that. Oh, a little bit not covered. There. Oh, a little bit of white canvas showing there. So just scrape it around the edges. If your paint is thin, you only need to do it once or twice. If it's thicker, you may need to go around a couple of times before it stops dripping. Okay, now I'll just finish this off and then I'll bring you in for a closer look, and I'll try to show you at the angle at the painting I think is going to hang, because at the moment you're looking at the painting sideways. And as I said at the beginning, it's going to be hanging lengthwise, I think. Okay, but we'll bring you in for a closer look. So I just moved the painting to another table. Makes it easier to zoom in and show you, I think. I think this is the orientation it will hang. You can see we've got some interesting patterns happening in here. Some nice cell action. Yeah, I think it's quite interesting. Not quite the effect I was going for today, but interesting nonetheless. So what did you think of that one? Even though it wasn't really quite what I was going for in this painting, I think the overall result is really, really pretty, and it should dry really well. Perhaps I've inspired you to give Dutch pours a go yourself. Now, if you are very new to pour painting, Dutch pours are deceivingly difficult to do. So be prepared for some interesting results the first time you give it a go. But perhaps the most important thing to keep in mind is to keep your paint mix thin. If it's too thick, you can't blow the paint around well on your canvas. Now, you don't have to use a big blow dryer. You can use one of the little mini USB blowers you can get from your local electronics store, or a straw, or your mouth, whatever you like to blow paint around on your canvas to create all sorts of interesting results. Well, it's time for me to clean up now, and unfortunately time for you to go. I hope you enjoyed it today. If you did, please take a moment to press the like button. Helps my content get found in YouTube land. And if you'd like to see more of my content, please take a moment to subscribe. Well, I hope you have a really good week ahead, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. In the meantime, happy painting.